They're hitting a lot of shots, and they're taking a lot of shots, which is honestly really good. That's what y'all need.
I do like the shots they take. Sometimes I'm like, are you serious? I mean, it's like that Jordan Poole shot, you know what I mean? But it's like, what are you doing? But it's like you like to see that from those guys. What's up, guys? Welcome into another episode of the Cutting Up Podcast. Today we have my boy, my friend, Jordan Sullivan in here. How we doing, my man?
Doing good, man. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Last night, the Philadelphia 76ers beat the Boston Celtics in overtime to tie the series 2-2. James Harden hit an incredible shot, and at that moment I knew I had to get Jordan in here, the resident Philly fan, fanatic,
Yes, sir.
all thing Philly, going nuts. We got to talk about it. So let's figure out what we're going to do with the haircut first, and then we'll get into all of that, my man. What are we doing today?
I think I'm going to go with the sides normal, like how you do with that 1.5 up the side fade.
Yep.
And then I'm going to try and leave most of the top, just a little bit maybe off the sides.
Okay, perfect. We can do that, my man. So yeah, this episode is going to be a little bit different, guys. Normally we kind of highlight someone's story and about their past and all that. We may do that another time with Jordan, but today we are about to hit a dead period in sports. The NBA Finals is on, NHL playoffs is on, and all we're going to have left is baseball, which he probably enjoys. Most of you probably enjoy. I don't watch much baseball, no college football, no college basketball. It's going to be sad for a couple months, and so I'm trying to soak it in. I wanted to get one last episode where we just hammer some sports talk out before we go through these next few months. So I called my boy. There's not too many people, I feel like, that don't have a job or something in the sports world that are absolute fanatics of just about everything as much as Jordan is. We can talk about just about any sport, and we go crazy. They come over to the house multiple times a week. We kick back, we watch the games, have a good time. So wanted to get one last one, just sports related, out into the ether here. So let's talk about it. We're in the middle of the NBA playoffs. We'll start. My Heat are in it. Your Sixers are in it. We're about to collide, hopefully, fingers crossed, in the Eastern Conference Finals. But before then, we're both in our series. You guys just tied up 2-2. How are you feeling?
Honestly, I'm feeling pretty good. It's nice to see that Harden is, taking over like he is. I mean, Embiid is the MVP, and he is definitely our best player. But at the same time, one guy can only do so much, Yep. So it's nice to see somebody else actually stepping up and doing what he does best. I mean, let's be honest. He's, a 3-time scoring champ? So you'd expect a 3-time scoring champ to be able to actually score. So it's good to see him doing that lately.
Now, how are you feeling about Harden, dude? What's up with this man? How does he go from dropping 50 points to dropping 18 and 12 and then going back to 40? I don't know what he actually had those two middle games, but he's had two 40-plus games, performances, but then in between was just disappeared, a shadow of himself. What's up with that?
I don't know. Doc let him go to Vegas before game 1, and apparently that worked, and I guess he didn't let him do anything for games 2 and 3, but apparently he sent him a gospel song for game 4.
Is that true?
That's what they said. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but if it is, I'm excited to see what Doc sends to Harden next, because he better send one for next game, because I'd like to see another 45 or something like that. Something crazy.
I'm not a huge Harden fanatic. I'm surrounded by two here. One that's a 76er. Our producer over there, Dalton, is a huge Houston Rockets fan, so he worships James Harden. Are you rooting for the 76ers right now? Is that your team? Yeah. So I saw a report over the weekend, though, that Houston is actually interested in bringing James Harden back. Is that true? Do we know if that's actually legit?
I mean, a lot of people have said it. I hope he stays, because I think the pairing with him and Embiid is pretty awesome. I think they complement each other really well. Embiid draws a lot of defenders, and he can just always kick it to Harden, and then Harden does that little pick and roll with him really nice. So I don't see any reason for him to split up at this point, because, I mean, what the Sixers got with Maxey especially, Maxey's really young. Him with Harden and Embiid. Tobias Harris, I'm really on the fence about still. But, if we replaced him with someone else, I see us
if only you guys
strong
could,
for a
I feel
while.
like you're one piece away. If you could only get a player like Jimmy Butler on that Sixers team, if you could just somehow find a way to do that, I mean, it would change everything for you, don't you think?
Nothing broke
If you
my
could
heart
swap
more.
out like Tobias Harris for Jimmy Butler, I mean, in a perfect world, you guys probably have multiple rings at this point, don't you think?
Nothing broke my heart more than when we signed Tobias Harris and let Jimmy Butler go, because that man is a dog. And I'm gonna be honest, if the Sixers do see the Heat in the next round, I'm not liking that too much. I mean, Jimmy Butler just seems to own the Sixers whenever he plays us. Dude's got some serious beef with us.
I've seen it. I don't remember when it was or who they were playing, but there was a clip of him like walking to the locker room at some point in the Heat jersey, and he's like walking into the locker room, and he's like, "Man, they signed Tobias over me," or like, "Imagine signing Ben Simmons over me." You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy to look back and think about it now. Man. You know?
It's so sad to think that we did that, and honestly, it's sad enough that we didn't win that year. That we had
that shot, dude.
Simmons that was playing good at the time. We had Butler, we had Harris, we had Embiid. I mean, Kawhi Leonard just, man, he killed the hearts of every Philadelphia fan that day. Just ripped it out. But
so we're tied 2-2 with the Celtics. NBA regular season, it's really tough to watch, but toward the end and going into playoffs, that's kind of when I tune in. Mm-hmm. Boston, Philly has been a rivalry. Yeah. You guys have met a bunch of times. Yep. Watching that game last night, you guys are down 2-1, a must win. You're up by 15, and I just kept having in the back of my head, like, I feel like I've seen this before. Boston comes back and wins this game. Like, this happens every year. They fall apart. Boston's going to win this game 3-1, go back to Boston, end this series. Mm-hmm. And you guys pulled it off. Were you having the same thoughts as me of like, this is gonna, and it did get close and it went to overtime, and there was Marcus Smart makes that three and it's over. But how nervous were you even being up double digits going into the fourth quarter that this was gonna fall apart?
I mean, the Celtics have owned the Sixers over the past 2-3 years, especially in the playoffs. It's not been good for us. And like regular season, I think we were 1-4 against the Celtics this year. So I was a little worried, but Tatum wasn't playing his best, so I was thinking maybe we'll be fine. And I mean, they turned it on in the fourth. When they got up 5, I was pretty down. I couldn't even believe it. I couldn't believe that we blew that game. And then Tucker out of nowhere gets an and one.
Oh my goodness, dude.
How does that happen? We couldn't stop him the whole quarter. And I think Embiid only scored 1 basket the whole fourth quarter.
Well, yeah, he like disappeared in the fourth, but then came back alive for overtime. Did you see PJ Tucker like chewing him out?
Yes.
He was like in his face. Well, that's what you need.
Well, that's what he needs. Yeah. I mean, especially from a veteran presence like Tucker. I mean, he's there for about 3 things. He shoots corner threes, he guards a bigger player that's good, and he's there to be a veteran. So he's there to lead people. And I guess that's what worked for Embiid last night. I mean, I don't care what it takes. If that's what it takes every game, then by all means, chew him out every time down the court.
So tied 2-2. You've watched all 4 games, right?
Yeah.
What needs to happen these next 2 games or these next 3? Best 2 out of 3 at this point. What do the Sixers need to do to win this series?
I mean, Harden seems to be the man right now, so I'm all about riding that hot hand. If he steps up and plays like how he's been playing in games 1 and 4, not 2 and 3. Man, he was terrible in 2 and 3. But Embiid does his normal thing, and then we just need one other person to contribute, whether it's Maxey or Harris or even Niang really can come alive every once in a while. He played pretty good last night. But Maxey or Harris, we just need one of them to step up and score at least 15 to 20 points. And I think we got a good shot.
Well, the good news is that if you guys can just get it to a Game 7, you do have James Harden, who is known to be a monster in Game 7. All those times with the Rockets, he was just an absolute beast, guaranteed to win. I don't think did he ever lose a Game 7? All of them?
Well, did he, Mr. Rockets fan?
Sorry. Shouldn't have done that. Oh man, so let's do a little alternate endings, and then we'll go back and we'll clip whichever one actually happens, okay? So here we are, we're sitting here. The 76ers just defeated the Boston Celtics. They are awaiting the winner of the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks. How are we feeling? You finally you slayed your guys' giant. How do you feel about going in the next round?
I never had a doubt.
Never had a doubt?
Never had a doubt ever. We own the Celtics now. The Sixers, we're definitely going to the NBA Finals this year. without a doubt. I don't care who it is. Heat. I hope it's the Heat. I almost want Jimmy Butler at this point. That's really bad to say, but
I'm going to be honest, I'm so excited that the Sixers won because I did not want to play the Celtics because I do feel like playing the Sixers, Jimmy's coming out with a little extra fuel. He's coming out with some fire. Yeah. He wants to beat you guys. This is going to mean the world to him. He's going to give it his all. Boston, we've been back and forth. We beat them, and I think it was either a game 6 or 7 to go to the finals in the bubble, and then they beat us last year to go to the finals against the Warriors in game 7. So this one, the Boston could go either way. Philly can too. I don't know if we have an answer for Embiid. People love Adebayo, but I'm indifferent toward him. I don't even want to get into that, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But I feel a little bit more comfortable about the Sixers than I do the Celtics personally. So it's going to be a fun series.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We're going to have some kind of wager between you and me if this happens.
Oh, 100%.
Someone's going to have to buy someone else a jersey or whatever, you know? Imagine you have to buy me a Jimmy Butler jersey.
I mean,
I'm gonna have you find a Sixers Jimmy Butler jersey and buy it for me.
That's
what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do right there. And then I'll find you a PJ Tucker Heat jersey and I'll send it to you.
Oh, that's
there we
fair.
go.
Okay.
That
I'm
makes
cool
sense.
with that.
There we go. That'll work. Now, rewind.
I gotta be sad.
Dude, I'm so sorry, man. They almost had it. 2-2. The series was tied. It was anyone's game, man. What happened, dude?
This is the most typical Philly ending to a playoff ever. The Celtics gave us the work. I hate Al Horford so much.
He didn't do anything for Philly when he was there.
Dude, how
was he so good, went to Philly, fell apart, and then went back to Boston and just is that man again?
I almost want to say Philly signed him just so that Embiid wouldn't have to play against him because for some reason he just had Embiid's number for like a couple years right before we signed him. And then he was trash for us. I don't know what happened. And then he goes to Boston, and dude's a sharpshooter apparently. I mean, it's ridiculous.
So obviously people are looking at Embiid like, you know, he let the team down. Obviously he was a little bit hurt. You can't really blame him.
Yeah.
I think the real story now is once again James Harden falls apart in game 7. I mean, it's just the same old story every time. He just gets there and can't put him over the hump. Yeah. He's going to be a free agent this year. Are you wanting to re-sign him? There's reports that he could be going to Houston, going back there. I know he wants to get paid a lot of money. You guys have money tied up in superstars like Tobias Harris. Do you want to continue to pour money into James Harden? Where are you at with that? Do you bring him back? Do you let him walk? Do you try to renegotiate the contract? How are you feeling after full year 1 with James Harden?
I really hope we try and keep him because, I mean, it's him and Embiid. The dynamic of having both of them on the court at the same time is just insane. Like, they're just both monsters. And they both can take over a game, like, instantly. So, I really hope we do. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm not in the Sixers front office, sadly. But if I was, I would definitely try and get him back, for sure.
Well, hopefully my Miami Heat will take care of your Boston Celtics. We'll defeat your giant and we'll go win one for you. And you can be a pseudo fan because it's Jimmy Butler, you know, and he was a Sixer at one point, you know?
I will definitely be cheering for Jimmy Butler.
There we go.
If that's what it comes to, definitely will be.
So let's talk about my series. We got the Knicks and the Heat going. At the time of this, we're 2-1. We've got the lead. We got game 4 in Miami here. We get this, we're 3-1. I mean, I'm feeling really good, man. Jimmy Butler came off that ankle injury, looked really good. I'm shocked, man. I mean, we almost didn't get through the play-in. Absolutely insane. You know, now we get to look at, okay, we're playing the Celtics or we're playing the Sixers. You start looking at matchups, you know, potentially Embiid, potentially Tatum and Brown, and the Celtics just seem like a more complete team. But then you have Joel Embiid, who we have Bam, who's a great defensive player, but you know Joel Embiid is amazing and
MVP.
He's the MVP. He's the reigning league MVP. I feel pretty good. I've seen this story before. It happened in the 2020 bubble where Jimmy Butler carries us all the way there, and then there's that iconic picture of him leaned over the table. Going after the game finals where he's dropping 40 points in the finals and we're still losing. He's given it all he has, but he needs some kind of help. Our role players are a bunch of undrafted free agents. They're doing very well, but it's like, man, I need somebody else to just step up and be able to shoulder that for him for majority of the time. That way he's not completely gassed if we do get out of this round, if we do somehow get past the Sixers or the Celtics, and then we get to the finals, like, how are we going to keep this man up? We need someone to step up. Obviously, Hero's out. We have Bam Adebayo, which I have a ton of people that, a bunch of Heat fans that I know that are, they say Bam Adebayo is a top 3 center. I don't see how you can say that when he's as inconsistent as he is. I mean, you can't disappear from games, you know what I mean? Like he has the ability to go do put these crazy numbers up, but then it's like, it's a game where you need him and he's got 8 points and 7 rebounds. And it's like, well, you can't be a top 3. You can't consider yourself in the category with Embiid and Giannis and Jokic and all these guys when you're doing, I mean, even Anthony Davis, which he's kind of inconsistent too, but it's like, you got to be able to have those.
His down game's still 15-11.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be able to have these, and like, I just need to see Bam like come out and just give me a 30-point, 15 rebounds, 4 blocks, like just go nuts and take over a game, and he's never done that. And so that's what worries me about us on this run is like, I feel like we've got a lot of role players that are playing really good. Jimmy Butler's playing amazing, amazing basketball. I think we have the best head coach in the NBA in Eric Spoelstra. But I feel like I see it happening again where last year in 2020 where Jimmy's going to get gassed. I mean, what do you think for us? Give me some encouragement.
I mean, Jimmy Butler is him. I mean, he is the man. And like you said, heroes out. I think that's a huge blow because, I mean, what Jimmy needs around him is shooters.
Yeah.
And when you lose probably your best shooter on the team, you'd think that normally would hinder y'all a lot more than it has. But really, like people like Max Struss and Vincent, I mean, names you've never heard of, they're hitting a lot of shots, and they're taking a lot of shots, which is honestly really good. That's what y'all need.
I do like the shots they take. Sometimes I'm like, are you serious? I mean, it's like that Jordan Poole shot, you know what I mean? But it's like, what are you doing? But it's like you like to see that from those guys because it's showing that they have some confidence.
Yeah,
Duncan Robinson is getting hot. He's taking a lot of his old shots, and it's like you want those guys in that moment. It's like, yeah, you could be a great 3-point shooter all year long, but when the playoffs come, you can freeze up or you're looking to pass. And those guys this year, and it's probably just because they have the playoff experience, they are not nervous or hesitant at all. They are letting that thing fly, and so far it's worked out great for us.
Duncan Robinson, he was pretty much out of the rotation, wasn't he?
Yeah, dude.
I mean, that dude went from being a starter, playing a lot last year, 2 years ago, to absolutely nothing this year. And then Hero gets hurt in the playoffs of all times. Dude gets to come in, step in at the biggest time of the year. And honestly, he has done well. I mean, can't really ask for much more from him. But yeah, Bam, you need somebody else to carry him for at least one game a series, just to give Jimmy a break. Because I mean, the man's insane, but you can only go so long, right?
So on to the other series. Neither of us have necessarily rooting interest because they're not our teams, but we enjoy good basketball and good series. Nuggets Suns, they just tied up their series. They're 2-2. Who do you got? Who wins this out? Because this is taking a turn very quickly because it almost looked like the Nuggets were going to just sweep them.
It's hard to believe a team that has Kevin Durant and Devin Booker on it is not going to beat the Denver Nuggets. But at the same time, the Suns just do not look like themselves in Denver for some reason. I still think they pull it out, though.
It's that altitude.
Surely they pull it out. There's no way they don't. I say they go to Denver in Game 7, and they close them out.
And then Warriors-Lakers, 2-1. I think they play tonight, don't they? Are they playing tonight?
I think so.
I think they play tonight, 2-1 in LA. LA destroyed them. Game 3, man, it wasn't even, and the Warriors got up big early, and the Lakers came back and just beat them down. What do you think happens? The Warriors got a shot here? Or you think LeBron's gonna take care of them?
At this point, it's let's see who's gonna get blown out tonight. I mean, the Warriors won by 30 in the game they won, I think, and then they turn around just to lose by 30 next game. I don't understand how that happens, but I think the Warriors get it back tonight. They tie it up. If it goes 3-1, there's no way LeBron's blowing that 3-1 lead. There's just no way.
No, he comes back from 3-1 leads. He doesn't blow them.
Yeah, exactly. He's not going to blow that, and especially with AD.
I'm going to be honest, man. I was really hoping the Warriors would win this because I really want – if the Heat aren't going to win and your Sixers aren't going to win, I wanted Steph to get this 5th ring en route to beating LeBron again and for the discussion to be who is greater all time. Steph Curry, LeBron, because LeBron's been up at the top for the last 10 to 15 years, you know. He's pretty much cemented himself at number 2 in my book and in most people's, you know. You can have that debate another time. Yeah. But Curry, obviously, his first few years was, you know, not very relevant. They start winning. KD comes, he takes a little bit of a step back. They continue to win, but it's more like KD gets most of the credit, you know what I mean?
Right.
As far as being the best player on the team. And then Steph wins one without KD. And I think last year that catapulted him up, getting his 4th ring into, you know, top 10, top 15 status. If he gets a 5th one en route, beats LeBron, he's got more rings. He's beat him in how many finals? He beats him in the playoffs.
Right.
Long term, it starts the discussion at least. And I just, as someone that likes the chaos and the arguments and the debates, that's what I wanted to see. You know, I wanted people to start to say, who was the best player of this generation? Was it Steph? Was LeBron? So I'm still kind of hoping Steph pulls it out for that reason. But after last game, they just don't have an answer for Anthony Davis. I mean, it's Davis. Davis is the one. It's not even LeBron that is the best player at this moment. It depends on Anthony Davis, because he could go out and get 30 and 20 and absolutely run Golden State, or he can turn into a shell of himself and let the Warriors win. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, Looney can't touch him outside of the box. I mean, if Looney gets anywhere near him, he just goes by him, or he just hits that little pull-up. If he's not hitting that little pull-up shot, then the Warriors are more than likely going to win. But, I mean, which it's no shot to Looney. I mean, dude's giving all he's got, but Anthony Davis is a monster.
He's a monster.
He's a monster. And LeBron's going to give you his 20. I mean, he really hasn't done anything too insane, I don't think yet. Now, I mean, there's always potential for it as LeBron, but I'd love to see Steph knock him out again. That'd be awesome. I'm a big Steph fan too. So.
And then we have your boy, who's your favorite player in the series, better than Steph, better than Clay, better than LeBron, better than Anthony Davis. Your man, AR-15, Austin Reeves.
Austin Reeves is a dog. But he has done nothing. He has done nothing the whole series. So, which, I mean, he really hasn't had to, but I'm hoping he, you know.
Picks it up.
Yeah.
So
it'd be nice to see him get 20.
You have to pick a winner right now. Lakers, Warriors, who wins it?
I want the Warriors to win it, so I'm going to say Warriors.
Okay. So then we got Warriors, Denver.
No, Suns.
Warriors, Suns, yes. Warriors, Suns. That's going to be a good one. You get Devin Booker.
Awesome.
That would be amazing, actually. I'm with you on that. That's what I want to see. Kevin Durant going back to play the Warriors. They got Devin Booker. We don't know if Chris Paul is going to play, but who really cares? He might be better without him at this point.
Honestly.
Who do you got in that series? Do you got KD taking out his revenge, getting back on his old team, or do you have the Warriors just mopping the floor with them? I mean, the Warriors are definitely the better team. Like, they've got the chemistry. They play better together.
The Warriors are going to be all in their heads.
That would be amazing.
Booker's going to start talking trash or something, and then get locked up by Draymond somehow. And Steph's going to have 40 every single game in that whole series.
Durant's shooting, dude. You know Durant he is not holding back in that series.
I mean, Wiggins is a good defender.
Wiggins is good. When have you ever seen somebody just take 2 months off from playing basketball, come back, and then they just pick up right where they left off? Boom. He had a monster dunk in that Lakers game that was nasty, dude. And it's like all over him. It's like, this dude was gone for 2 months, and then he can just walk back on the court and do that. I mean, that's insane.
Hey, that's why they're getting paid millions right there.
And then you got, your guy is Austin Reeves, mine is Dante DiVincenzo. I mean, come on, the secret link right there. He's the secret weapon, man.
No doubt, for sure.
I think they're pretty equal.
No, DiVincenzo is so bad.
No, he's not.
The worst player on that team.
He is not.
He holds them back so much.
Stop. He does not.
But
at least he doesn't chuck up at end of game shots that are just not even.
Oh, that was so painful to watch. Of all the people in that, now he did hit 6 threes that game. I will give him that. He had 6 threes, but so did Clay, and so did Steph. And when you're the Warriors, I mean, come on. That's the last. You don't want to see Poole taking a 35-foot three-pointer with 13 seconds left in the game.
And I said this too. I think that the fact that Steph and Clay are on the team makes that where you can't do that. You know what I mean? Because he was hot. He's a good shooter. Yeah. He's hit shots before. And I don't think it's out of his range. I think he can make that shot. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely doable. It's the fact that you have
two of the greatest shooters of all time.
Yeah, if not the two greatest shooters of all time on your team, and you take that shot with 13 seconds left. That's the other piece. It's like if it's 3 seconds left, Steph is double teamed, Clay's on the other side of the court, you're wide open, and with 3 seconds, yes, you have to take it. But with 13 seconds left, I mean, even just pump fake and take a step in, you know, like
there was nobody from him to like the free throw line.
I mean, something.
I don't know.
Absolutely brutal, man.
I couldn't believe he put it up, but I mean, I guess a lot of NBA players are confident in their shot for a reason, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So kudos to him, but that was a terrible shot.
I so
bad shot.
I so badly hope we get Warriors Suns. That would be incredible.
That would be so awesome. That would be one of the best series.
Unbiased here, we're saying, you know, take the Sixers out of it. Let's say they lose to the Celtics for whatever reason. Second best team in your eyes, obviously Sixers are number one. Who would you pick if you're not picking the Sixers to win it all? Of the teams that are remaining, who wins the NBA championship?
Second best team or second team I want to win?
Second best team. Who do you think actually will win it? If
the Sixers don't, got to be the second best team.
You think so?
I mean, they're stacked. There's no reason they should have got like smoked by Denver in those first two games like they did. Honestly, they're stacked. They should win. But like you said, Warriors chemistry-wise, unmatched by far. The Heat, they just have Jimmy Butler, and he can honestly, he showed what he can do against the Bucks. He can take down the best team by himself, no problem. But the Suns got to be the next best team for sure, I think.
Now, before we finish here, Jordy always resents me because I'm not a hockey guy or a baseball guy, and he is. And we, one of the things we like to do, we got a trivia game that we play with a big group of our friends. And two of the categories, one's hockey, one's baseball, and we've all mutually agreed we leave those categories out. So we get rid of those, we keep all the other categories, but Jordy's the only one who knows anything about those. It'd be a guaranteed 2 points for whatever team he's on. So we don't even bring those up. And then when we come over, we only pull up baseball or hockey if something else is on halftime or it's a break, and we give Jordy a little taste of it. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes here to talk about the NHL playoffs, because you've got me kind of following it just a little bit. Not too much, but just a little bit. I know a couple names. I know a couple teams. Let's talk NHL playoffs. Who are you rooting for to win it all? Who's your team?
I mean,
obviously the Preds are probably your team, right? Because they're Tennessee or no?
Philadelphia. Flyers.
Oh, Flyers, yes, you're right.
They're very bad at hockey right now, so they didn't even come close to the playoffs.
Okay, so who, outside of Flyers, who's your team? Who are we rooting for?
Oh, man. I'd love to see McDavid and the Oilers win.
Yeah.
That'd be cool just to see him win, but...
Who's the other guy that's been scoring all their goals?
Draisaitl. He's a monster.
He scored 4 goals the other night, right?
Yeah, but I think I'm going for either the Devils or the Kraken. The Kraken, just because they're a new team, it's kind of unique.
So someone was saying, but when did they start their team?
This year.
This year was their year one?
Last year. Last year's year one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So they're year 2.
Year one, yeah.
I wonder, and you may know this, I wonder what the soonest a team has ever won from when they actually were created.
Well, Vegas, they made the Stanley Cup their first year.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
So this is common. Does this happen often in hockey?
There's hardly ever new teams, and then all of a sudden Vegas got a new team, and then right after Vegas, Seattle got one.
Okay.
So they both, they're almost guaranteed good players with how they get a new team. It's called an expansion draft, and like every team has to put people in this pool that they can pick from. And so you're guaranteed like at least a couple good players, and if not, some really strong veterans. Like Vegas got Fleury, possibly one of the greatest goalies of all time, as their starting goalie their first year. And
so now, how do they do that though? How do they make a team? Like, what do they say to the team? Like, you have to give away a player that started this many games or something? Like,
no, it usually just has to do with like cap space. Teams see players like Fleury. He's old. He's really old. And Pittsburgh had a really good goalie, like another good goalie that was way younger.
Oh, that's my team, Pittsburgh Pirates. So, Crosby, right? How'd they do this year?
No, Crosby. They didn't even make the playoffs.
Okay, not my team.
You love to see it.
I'm an Oilers fan.
No, but like Fleury, he had a lot of cap space, and he's really old. And they have a really good goalie now, so why keep him? You know?
Yeah.
That's an easy way for a team to like shed a lot of cap space and at the same time like get an older player off the books. And usually these expansion teams will pick up like 3 to 5 pretty well-named veterans, and then outside of that they get a lot of young guys and all those young guys are super hungry.
Yeah.
And they have made the best of it. It's incredible, but that's how it is in hockey.
That's awesome. And the Boston Bruins just had one of the greatest
greatest season of all time.
Yep.
The most wins in NHL history, just to lose in the first round of playoffs. They had 7 home losses all year, 12 total losses, and then they lost 3 home games in the first series of the playoffs.
Now I had another client telling me that hockey is a little different. Like obviously in the NFL or the NBA, like when the number 1 seed goes down, like the Heat beating the Bucks, that doesn't happen often. Like that happens once every, 10 years that the number 1 seed loses in the first round. But they say hockey can be a little bit different. Like hockey is very much, like definitely. Underdogs can come playoff times and anything can happen, right? Like it was a collapse, but it wasn't astronomical. Right. It wasn't crazy, right?
The Panthers are a good team. Like they've got Tkachuk, who's one of the newest stars in the NHL. And they've got Bobrovsky, who is, I don't like Bobrovsky because he was terrible for the Flyers, but once he left the Flyers, he won the Vezina. So he's a really, really good goalie. And if you have a really, really good goalie, you can honestly beat any team if your goalie gets hot. So, and that's, I'll give the Panthers credit. They came back and went to Boston and took them down. It was amazing. But yeah, it was really sad to see Boston go out after such a good year.
All right, that's enough hockey talk. Had enough of it. I'll let you quickly tell us about where are the Phillies? How are they doing? Good, bad, decent season? Any chances we're getting back to the World Series?
The Phillies were down last year to start the year, and we roared back at the very last wild card spot and then made it. So anything is possible, but I'm pretty sure we are second to last in our division right now. We've got a losing record, but Bryce Harper just came back, so there's hope. He's the man.
How tough is it to be a Phillies fan?
It's tough.
Eagles, Phillies, and I think even the MLS team, right? All 3 of them lost.
Union lost, the Eagles lost, Phillies lost. Flyers didn't even make the playoffs. They're just a disappointment, but yeah, it's been tough.
You're so close. You're right there.
It's been really tough as a Philly fan lately, but we're getting through it.
But you guys had a great draft, which we didn't even talk about, the NFL draft. You guys are the Philadelphia Bulldogs now because you're just taking all the Georgia players.
If we draft enough championship players, surely we'll get one eventually, right?
It's the only time you root for Georgia players, right?
Yeah, facts. Never. Any other time, no. But we will take them on the Eagles for sure. For sure.
Good stuff, my man. Good stuff. My man, well, I appreciate you coming on. We will probably see you again soon. If the Sixers and Heat end up in the finals, we may have to do something again very shortly. I don't know if we'll do a full-length podcast or we'll do something on the actual, just on the social media or something, but that would be electric. So that I actually I definitely want to play Philly. Dude. I think it'll be a better matchup and it'll be a ton of fun because I don't know many Boston fans. I know a couple. Right. I've got a couple guys that are Boston fans, but I definitely know more Philly fans than Boston. So that would be fun. So
I'm excited, man.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. So appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks. Like, share, subscribe, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.